Something we've been doing a little bit more of on this channel is service and tutorial videos. We did a 100-mile service on the Talon X, and we also did a tutorial on a safety harness install on the Talon R. And today we're adding on to that by doing a 100-mile service on the RT's 2018 Pioneer 1000. And we're going to get straight into it with what we need. Sorry in advance if it's fast paced, so pause if you need to. So like the Talon X service, we're using the GM4 Honda oil and the gear oil we used. And we're also changing out the DCT and engine oil filters, but the bolt size you need to know is 10, 12, and 17 millimeter. But right before we start, you're going to get a good look at Will and Dylan's new R. And I'm telling you, it is one good looking machine. But on your Pioneer, you're going to lift the bed, and right over there is where your fill stick is, right there. And that little piece that says oil filter cap access, you can take that off, but you don't have to. So now we're getting down under the buggies, you can see right here. And we're taking out the plug for the engine oil, and we're going to let that drain. And this is about like the Talon, it run a little bit before we serviced it, so it's pretty hot. So if you ran yours before servicing, just be careful. So just right next to it is a DCT. We're going to take out the plug for that and let it drain also. So for the filters, they're on the driver's side under the bed. You're going to see it right here. Top is the engine filter and bottom is the DCT filter. And sorry about the slight camera shake there, for those who noticed. So we're starting on these filters by loosening up all the bolts on them. Not taking any off just yet, just going to loosen them up a little bit. So first we're going to take off the cap to the DCT filter. And we're kind of slowly doing that because the oil's a little hot. Because as I said earlier, we did run the Pioneer before servicing. So just like in the Talon X service, do not lose your spring. So just take it out and then take the filter out. And because it is hot, we're just getting a screwdriver in there. We're going to kind of drag it out like so. And before you put your new filter in, kind of clean around it with a rag or something to get all that oil out. And you'll take your new filter and just slide her in like so. And you'll also want to take a rag and kind of wipe the oil around the cap of the filter, as you can see right here. Then you'll take the spring that you hopefully did not lose and put it in there and just put the cap back on and tighten her up. By the way, do not over tighten. Just keep it snug. And those bolts on the engine oil filter cap, they're in a little bit of a touchy spot, but you can get them. And you'll also slowly remove that, and carefully. We took out the spring, by the way, don't lose it. And we pulled this one out by hand, and it wasn't too cool either. And we kind of sandwiched the spring between the cap and the filter like that. It'd make it a lot easier putting it in since them bolts are in touchy spots. So skillfully work your way around it and put it in there. Hopefully it ain't too hard. See there, it's a piece of cake. So you'll just take the bolts you took off and obviously put them back on. Snug, do not over tighten. Here we are where we took out the plug for the engine oil. We're going to clean that spot out. We're going to clean the plug itself and we're going to put it back on. It should be drained out by now. So you're just going to snug it back up right where it went. And here we are doing the exact same thing with the DCT. You're just going to clean the plug out and put it back in there and snug it up. And there's our two old filters right there. So back where our oil fill plug was, right there, we took it out, and then we took a funnel, and then we're going to put it in there like so, and then we're going to fill it with oil. And since we changed both oil filters, it's the same as the Talon, we're going to put 6.1 quarts in there. And one jug is 4 quarts, so there's a little bit of our second jug right there. So now we're cleaning up our cap, and then we're going to clean around the spot where the cap goes, and we're going to put it back in there. Then we're going to start, let it run for 30 seconds, and then let it sit for about 30 seconds.
Right in a line like that right there. Every one of them but 2. Maybe on each side of it.
After letting it sit for about 30 seconds, we check the oil. Do not thread the dipstick in all the way, by the way. So you just drop it in and pull it out, and it was good. So we just put it back in there, and then we're going to move on. So here we're lifting up the seat to check the subtrans. It's just under that little flap, about right there in the middle, just about. So hopefully you can see it. About right there is your dipstick. So you'll take your stick, clean it off, and all that, as you can see Doc doing right here for us. So you'll take your stick, put it in the hole. Do not thread the dipstick. Just drop it in, like Doc's doing right here, and just pull it back out. Never thread the dipstick, and it's good. So we won't mess with that no more. So on the front diff, I kind of missed it. You'll loosen / take out that little bolt right there, and if oil runs out at all, you can see that little spot right there. It's good if it runs oil. So the rear diff is the same setup as the front. You'll take out that bolt. And there's no oil coming out, so it's just a tad low. So you'll take that gear oil and you'll fill it up a little bit to where it runs out. And ours was just right at full. Just a couple shoots of that oil and it was done running out. Hopefully you can see it. There's just that little bit of oil right there. So it's good now. We're going to take that bolt and we're going to put it back on there and snug it up. So we're checking our coolant level. It's good, but we're just going to add a little bit more to the line. So we're under the hood. We got a funnel up there and we're going to fill it up to where it gets to the line. And that's optional. You don't have to do it unless it's really low. So we filled it up a little bit and it is right there at the line. So we're good with that. So Doc's getting ready to give us a quick lesson on the rear diff lock cables. He's just showing us what it's supposed to look like. And this is only if it needs it.
Lando, this is pretty much what you're going to look like in park and with your selector in turf mode. We're going to go out of park and I'll show you what we're going to look like. There's out of park in neutral and turf mode. See how everything's lined kind of with your upper marks. Okay, now we're going to park, two-wheel drive. And you want everything aligned in between these two marks here and here. You want this pretty well straight. These need to be snug, and you need slop right here. And if you don't get it exactly right the first time, and we'll test this one here in a little bit, you can get it out here and drive it and go in and out of your two-wheel drive, turf mode, and watch your lights on the dash. And if it takes it a long time to shift, you need to tweak it just a little bit more. But that right there should be real close.
So we're also checking tire pressure. On the Pioneers, we're running 9 in the front and 8 in the back. So if it has too much, just let out a little bit. And if it has not enough, then air it up a little bit, obviously. But that's just what we run. Run whenever you're used to running or whatever you feel like running. But that's just what we use. I'm telling you, I had footage of us in the Pioneer going from two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive to turf and all that just to check. I don't know what happened to it. It disappeared. But it did do good. So you can do that if you want. But that's about it for this 100-mile service. If you learned something, let us know and leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I kind of feel like closing this video with a shot of Will and Dylan's R. But anyway, I'll see y'all in the next video.